Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Our coverage tonight begins in the country's capital, Abuja, where High Court of the Federal Capital Territory in Maitama on Tuesday refused an application by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to be granted permission to travel to the United Kingdom for a checkup. Emefiele is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on an amended 20-count charge bordering on procurement fraud, obtaining by pretext, and forgery, while he held sway as governor of the Apex Bank. At the resumed hearing on the application for medical leave, the trial judge, Justice Hamza Muazu, held that Emefiele failed to supply sufficient reasons to show that the medical trip was essential and unavoidable. To discuss this a little further, I'm being joined by Public Affairs Analyst and Chairman, African Democratic Congress, Lagos State Chapter, George Ashiru. George, thank you very much for joining us. In what ways might this court decision influence the perception of regulatory and financial accountability in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here this evening. I think this is very important that the judges realize the importance for all of us Nigerians and the legal system to hold everyone, no matter how high they are, accountable for their actions, past, present. And I think this is just one of them. I mean, we cannot have someone being prosecuted and then they have the opportunity to enjoy the freedoms that they would have had if they didn't have the same sort of issue hanging on their heads. So for me and for a lot of Nigerians, we need to get to the root of this matter. And I think if it was a very serious ailment, I would think that all the necessary documentation will have been provided. Then the judges will have looked at it. But he has cases all over the place. So one judge might rule that he can travel. Another judge might say, no, hold on to the passports. So that's the way I look at it at the moment.
Considering the allegations against him and the case that he has, might there have been fear that he might abscond if given the opportunity to go for his medicals?
Well, I mean, the chances of his absconding depends on which country he's going to. So if he's going to a country that we have the right kind of bilateral agreement in terms of things like this in the diplomatic level, with all certainty, he will be under surveillance, and the country concerned might choose also to return him to Nigeria if he does abscond. I think the fear is not so much absconding, but the possibility of interfering with potential witnesses, interfering with documentation, hiding documentation, and then opportunity to also make calls and reach out to people and make fresh networks. So there are so many other things that could be involved when you let a high-profile person, politically inclined person for that matter, to have freedom in this stage outside of the country, which is outside of the borders of our intelligence agencies. Right now, they need to be able to monitor him. I'm sure he's under 24-hour surveillance in every way and in every manner. So that's probably one of the reasons the Nigerian government will say, no, this is not appropriate. And from what I read, and he did not even provide any medical information that will have expedited the action on his behalf.
Considering the seemingly growing distrust of the judicial sector, there are speculations that the decision, though given that they said it was incomplete documentation and the reason is not valid enough, that the medical need was not, can be done here, do you subscribe that there might be political undertones to the court decision? If yes, where does that leave us?
I mean, look at it in a very important manner. You see, we're talking about the Central Bank Governor of Nigeria, a former Central Bank Governor of Nigeria. I mean, this level of you wouldn't call it political persecution, will be unprecedented. So really, it's a purely legal matter. The government of Nigeria believes that the gentleman in question did not practice good corporate governance while he was in office for almost 10 years. They're probably the only central bank governor that's got two cycles, so to speak, of opportunity to become central bank governor of Nigeria. And in that period of time, there's cause as far as government is concerned, and as far as the special prosecutor was concerned, to believe that there were lots of things that didn't go well. So we Nigerians like to get to the root of the matter. We Nigerians like to see that justice is being practiced. From a purely political point of view, as a political party chieftain, I'm concerned about the fact that the central bank governor is an active member of the ruling party. That's not something that is acceptable for a central bank governor. Should be an independent individual, non-partisan, and therefore making decisions for the best interest of the country. But as long as you belong to the political party in question, it begets the question, are you there on behalf of the government, or are you there on behalf of the party? So I am more worried about the corporate governance, the bad corporate governance that that basically insinuates that we've had 9 years of impunity, the capacity to do anything and everything to this level that needs to go to court and 20 charges. So we need to get to the root of this. And if truly he has very serious medical conditions that cannot be treated in this country, I would also believe that his human rights are guaranteed by the Constitution to do so.
All right, George, we'll have to leave it there for now. I'm very sure we will be talking about this case in the coming days and months. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.